You just got coconut mauled. Since we're now at the midpoint of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, I figured now would be a good time to rank all the tracks that we received so far. This list will be judged on my personal favorite tracks, so no super analytical ranking this time. This track is 2 meters longer than that one, so it's obviously better. Shut up! What are you talking about? Also, the graphics don't have anything to do with the track's placement, simply because stuff like that doesn't matter to me that much, as I play Mario Kart for the fun of it, not for the graphics. Even if some of the tracks can look a little...
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
So, with that all out of the way, let's just get into it. #24, Toad Circuit. Bet you never saw this one being in last place. As much as I love Toad, his circuit is just so mid. They could have chosen any Mario Kart 7 track to remake, and they had to pick this one? It's not a bad track by any means, and while I do enjoy it in 200cc, all the other tracks are just better. Sorry, Toad.
We won't let those fuckers take this land!
#23, Mario Circuit 3. While I'm sure most of you all don't really like this one, there's something about it that I kinda do. All the off-road in this track makes it a great one for comebacks. But yeah, it's just aight compared to all the other courses. I still find it to be fun, but it isn't anything super special compared to the others. #22, Sky Garden. I know everyone complains about this track not being faithful to the original design, and while that is true, this track is still alright. The overhaul is nice, and I do like playing on it on 200cc, but yeah, this track is still pretty mid. The leaf shortcut in the beginning is actually slower than the normal path, and I feel like the anti-gravity could have been put into the last part of the track, but besides that, it's okay. #21, Merry Mountain. I know most of you probably disagree with this, but let me just explain. First of all, this track is gorgeous. The anti-gravity in the end is cool too, and the half-pipe is nice. The glider in the second and third laps is also great, and it's a really solid Christmas-themed course, but it's just not my personal favorite. While it's fun for the first few times, after a while it just kinda feels a little boring in my opinion. But that's just me. As I said though, it's still a pretty fun track on the first few rounds. #20, Tokyo Blur. I know a lot of people find this track pretty boring, but I like it. It changes every lap, which in my opinion alters its simplicity. If it was the same layout for all 3 laps, then I wouldn't like it as much. But all the different layouts are simple enough for me to enjoy it. I also like the highway feeling of the 3rd lap. But even with that being said, it's just okay. Not the most mind-blowing pick, but still a decent one. #19, Boo Lake. This remake is really well done, as you actually drive in the lake this time round, and the implementation of the anti-gravity mechanic is really well done. I like how they kept the shortcut too, and while you don't need a mushroom, I definitely recommend it. #18, Maple Treeway. This track just looks downright beautiful. The colors, the detail, everything here is just wonderful. This track brings the first half-pipe into Mario Kart 8 too, and while it is slower, it does give you an item box and a boost at the end. This track is solid, and it's a good remake, but not my personal favorite. I've never been the biggest fan of this track, but I understand why a lot of people like it, and it definitely is not a bad track by any means. I'm glad it's in this game now. #17, Waluigi Pinball. Why is everyone so obsessed with this track? Is it because of Nathaniel Bandy's obsession with it? Or just Waluigi the meme himself? Nani? Genuine question though. While I do like this track, I've never understood what everyone loved about it. I feel like the devs could have incorporated anti-gravity in the section with the green road, but besides that, this track is super fun and colorful, and the layout is pretty solid. Not my personal favorite, but it's still good. #16, Shroom Ridge. I've always been indifferent about this track. Sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't, but this remake is nice. The moving item boxes can sometimes be a challenge to grab due to the cars possibly getting in the way, but that only really happens on 200cc. Both added shortcuts are fantastic, especially the last one. This track is super fun to play in 200cc too, as avoiding the cars can be challenging, but fun too. #15, Kalimari Desert. I love what they did with this one. If I gotta be honest, if they didn't include Kalimari Desert 2 from Tour, this would have easily been last place. I really don't like the original version of this track, as its aesthetic and layout is just so boring to me. but adding the train tracks into the mix was genius. Oh shit, I already made that joke. Also, is it just me, or do these ramps feel like they're made for 200cc specifically? I always mess up the jumps when in 150cc. Maybe it's just a skill issue, but I hope someone else gets what I'm saying. 14. Paris Promenade. This track is probably the most average out of the DLC so far. It's got a really nice skybox and setting, and I like the layout, but it's probably the least complex Tour City track so far, as the first 2 laps are the same. It's got a few positives though, such as a decent shortcut in the beginning, the diverging pass in the middle, the Piranha Plant obstacle, and I just like the locations that you visit in this one. The beginning of the 3rd lap can also be chaotic if you're in the lead by far. 13. Choco Mountain. This is what you call a remake. While it is based on the tour version, it still received a massive overhaul for the better. It actually feels like you're on a mountain now. The layout is fun, but the hazards are minimal. It has some small shortcuts though, which is always appreciated. Really solid track. 12. Snowland. I love what they did with this remake. While it still is a simple course, it's actually faithful to the original layout. Sky Garden. I also like how the item boxes are moving, which can sometimes make them a bit difficult to grab with the ice physics. I also like the 2 shortcuts at the end of the track, and the ultra shortcut is super satisfying to pull off. And even though it's useless, I like how you can trick off the edge of the ice lake. 11. Coconut Mall. God damn it, I already used the Coconut Mall joke. The cars move now.
Oh my god! Wow!
The visual update done to this track is really nice in my opinion. It's still got the same layout, which is awesome, as I've always liked this track. It's complex, but fun too, and it has some nice shortcuts. This one was truly a great pick. 10. Sky High SUNDAE. While this track is pretty controversial, I like it. While the camera angle at this jump is straight up garbage, it's actually even more infuriating because the camera is good in Tour, the rest of the track is fun. The underwater physics make for an interesting design, and this shortcut at the end is satisfying to pull off too, but I recommend doing it in 200cc. Jumping off many of the ramps is super exhilarating for some reason as well. Solid course. 9. New York Minute. I like how this one takes place at night, and the slipperiness element of the road and Central Park helps develop a unique atmosphere for the city track. The layout is also nice. I specifically like how the path of the glider ramp gets you a double item box. The colors also pop out a lot. An absolutely banging city track. 8. Berlin Byways. If I gotta be honest, I was a bit disappointed by this track. While I still love it, it just feels like a generic road and traffic themed course. But there are some unique sections in the 1st and 3rd laps, which include the subway and Womps. That music too, man it slaps. It's still a good remake, but not the best city track. It's still fun though, as it is number 8 after all. I just personally expected a little bit more though, that's why I'm talking negatively about this one. But as I just said, it's still fun. 8. Peach Gardens. I was genuinely shocked when I got to the 3rd lap of this course. The fact that they incorporated an unused section of the course and put it in to have the final lap go backwards is just super unique and awesome. I also love how you can glide through the hedges of Peach and Luigi in the final lap. This remake is really well done, as even the normal layout was slightly altered. And while some people may find that making the course easier was a bad decision, I think it works better for Mario Kart 8's engine. 6. Rock Mountain. This is my favorite track in Mario Kart 7. I love the gliding mechanics in that game, and while this game has worse gliding mechanics, it still works decently well in this game. I love how you can fly over the beginning section on the 2nd and 3rd lap, and the anti-gravity feature being put on the final portion of the track is just nicely done. I'm super happy that this one was remade. 5. 3DS Rainbow Road. Holy shit, this track looks absolutely stunning. The road looks so pretty, and the layout is still incredible. The anti-gravity on the moon fits amazingly well too. The only complaint I have is that they lowered the elevation on the turns with the boost panels on the 2nd lap, but that's no big deal. This is still an incredible track and a fantastic remake. 4. Ninja Hideaway. This track is just something else. All the different paths you can take per lap make for a really dynamic and fun track. It's also not the easiest of all courses, especially on 200cc. There's also this shortcut, which is just so sick to pull off. The atmosphere in this one is very nice too, easily one of the most unique tracks in the game. 3. Mushroom Gorge. Oh baby, this track is what you call a banger! They brought back this shortcut from Mario Kart Wii while combining all versions of the cave together, having the 2 mushroom paths from the Wii and the glider mushroom from Mario Kart 7. And the gap jump is oh so satisfying to pull off. I used to think this track was pretty mid, but this remake is everything that I wanted and needed from it. 2. London Loop. Besides Bangkok Rush, this is my favorite city track in Tour. This remake is incredible and everything that I wanted. I like how they added a foggy atmosphere. All of London Loop's variants are fun to me, as it feels like a basic track, but interesting too. The third lap in particular is awesome, and instead of immediately going to London Loop 3, it begins with 2 and then transitions to 3 in a great way. Having the chain chomps released from their posts on the third lap is also really nice, and an awesome gimmick. The music is amazing too, and I just love this track. The only problem I have with it is that it sticks with a very similar looking and feeling themes, as the normal road and dock act and pretty much look the same. The park is the only different theme, but you only race on it for a short amount of time. However, this issue is fixed in 1. Sydney Sprint. I never expected this track to be my favorite, as it wasn't my favorite city track in Tour. But what can I say? That saxophone is too sexy for its own damn good. Someone's gotta make a new Mario Kart lick with this song. Please do it. I need it. While I do enjoy London Loop's layout more, I love how each section is more diverse than London Loop's layout, such as the beginning and end with the Opera House, the road in the middle of each lap, and the boat, dock, grassy park, and pier on the second lap. This track also has some good shortcuts, and there's a tricky yet fun small shortcut in 200cc. I also love how this track builds up its path slowly as you go on. As the first lap, you go on the bridge pretty much backwards because there are ramps facing the opposite direction, so it's a nice teaser for the second and third lap when you go off those ramps, and going off those ramps is so fun too. Sydney Sprint just feels like the right length as well, as London Loop can feel a bit too long sometimes. It's a perfect track in my eyes and easily the best one so far. As of now, I've been really impressed with the Booster Course Pass DLC. While some of the tracks have been hit or miss for some people, I've genuinely enjoyed every track, even though I definitely prefer some more than others. I cannot wait to see what they add next. All I really want to see added in my personal opinion is Bangkok Rush, which is pretty much a shoo-in as it is a city course, DK Mountain, which was recently remade in Tour, so I think it might have a chance, and Wario Coliseum, which I unfortunately do not think will happen. What tracks would you want to see return in the future waves, and what is your ranking of the tracks so far? Once all the tracks are released, I'll make a video ranking every single track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I hope you look forward to that. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, and night.